People must
Hello, Viv.
people must wonder what we're up to, because whenever we start this, we're always laughing.
Yeah, true. Oh, but it's always the suspension of waiting. Are we live? Are we live? And then I've actually noticed that before we see the button here, it's actually already live because I've watched myself going, you know.
Hi, everybody.
Exactly.
So,
So
Susie, you're in Budapest right now. You've just arrived.
I just arrived in Budapest. Dr. Dane here has a class here coming up. So today is setup day and then we start. And you are on a farm.
I'm on a farm where magic and miracles occur all the time. Yeah. So the topic for today is, do animals have choice? And I think most people look at an animal and they just treat it as they don't have a choice. They just make these assumptions that, oh, well, it's just an animal and it doesn't really think about things. It doesn't make decisions. It doesn't, rather than, do they actually make choices? So what prompted this conversation today is I'm at my partner's family, their parents' farm, and one of the cows slipped a calf during the night, and I'm like, oh, this is all new to me. So slipping a calf means that she actually had the calf prematurely. So they think that the calf's about 2-3 weeks premature. So middle of the night, freezing cold, not a good look. And they woke up in the morning and scooped this little being that's basically the size of a Labrador, it's tiny, onto the quad bike, and threw it over the back of the quad bike, took it into the barn, and started to do whatever they could to try and keep this calf alive. And long story short, we're on day 3 of its life today. So I arrived the first day it was born. So I went over and it was weak, its eyes were closed, couldn't stand up, couldn't feed. The mother was in the next stall, and Andrew's father was feeding it milk. He'd milked the mother cow, whatever you call them. What are they called? Heifer.
Heifer?
Yeah, I just forgot. And started feeding, but of course the baby didn't know how to suckle. It was just really disorientated and potentially brain damaged. Anyway, long story short, we went and did some of our talk to the animals, amazing energetic processes, and I had a little chat to this calf and said, look, do you realize you have a choice? This is the situation. You can either start drinking the milk and we'll get you up on your feet in the next few days if you're up to it, and then you get to suckle from your mum, and then you go out into the paddock. And I gave this calf the energy of running around with its friends and with the sun on its back and the green grass and its mum, and just the joyfulness of being outdoors and being alive and having a body. I said, oh, you also have another choice of leaving this body. You can die and just leave this body, and if you choose to come back, then you can pick another way of coming in. Anyway, so I had no point of view, and luckily Andrew's father has no point of view either. It's like, well, obviously they'd love the calf to live, but it's just part of being on the land. And the next day the calf was drinking and it still wasn't strong enough to stand. And then I went, okay, what else does this calf require? And then I got to run one of the processes called exit stage left, which is, again, another process that gives the animal to choose whether it is going to heal its body or kill its body. So, if this is new information to you, please know that animals do make their choices. Anyway, we're on day 3. Little Calfie now has a name. She's called, not Marigold, the other M word. It'll come to me. It's a flower anyway.
Okay.
I can see the bush, but I can't remember the name. Anyway, and she's feeding. She's just about pulling the rubber teat off the bottle. She's now starting to go over to the mother and is nuzzling the teat. So what contribution for this calf can we be to continue to make that choice to live? Because the difference between yesterday and today, it's a very, very different animal. Very, very different animal. It's almost like somebody took the old one out and put a brand new calf in. So miracles
Which
occur.
we talked about last time, right?
Yes. So that's my amazing, very relevant story right now, right in front of me. So I was helping feed it this morning and still contributing energy and asking the animal's body, is there anything I can assist you with? I'm not, because I think we get very attached to things, and then we start pouring all of our expectations and all of our emotions into it, which is not a contribution. So for me to make that choice to just, okay, is there anything I can assist your body with? And it's just such an amazing gift to see. And there've been other miracles along the way. Andrew's father's incredible with these animals, and they've had other things going on to contribute to this calf's life as well. But I think giving the animal choice and letting it see the choice that it had and the future that would create, it's like, oh, okay. So that's my story.
I love it. And just to add to that, because sometimes it's the other way around. And we talked about this too, when people are not the other way around, but a lot of times people are more confronted with this whole issue when their animals are getting old, and it's basically then what I mean with the other way around, it's sort of this holding on to an animal, trying to make it stay when it's really time to leave. And, where people most likely struggle with all of this. But it's so interesting to also see how often animals are trying to please us in whatever way, and to really give an animal choice means that you are willing for it to go either way. Not, I'm going to give you choice, but I hope you live. It's really like, that's often what we do. We still go into this idea that, no, living is the more preferred choice. And, I think we really have to get over that, where it's not about, you have to choose to live because that's the right choice to make. We have to get away from that. That's the right choice, because only then do we truly give the animal the possibility to choose, But if we hold on to this idea that living is right and dying is wrong, and that's what we do, unfortunately, dying is still the wrong thing in this reality. So, yeah. So I love that story. It's just great.
And to have the tools to not be attached, I think attachment to things creates some of the greatest suffering, because we're in this conflict between, we don't want the animal to suffer, but then we've got our own stuff in the way. And this is where I love the tools of Access Consciousness, because it creates this clear path where you allow different possibilities to show up, and you're not trying to control because of your own needs, because of your own desires, as much as we try not to have those. And to have that clear space to really honor what choice truly creates is, it's a muscle to work. It's not that you're unkind or that you're cold or you're uncaring. It's actually the opposite. You're actually you're kinder, because you are honoring that being. You're honoring that it has its own choice. And this is, this can be quite a hot subject to talk about with people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want to take responsibility, because with that choice, there is always, every choice creates something.
Totally. And we actually have a few people watching, and Imelda was just making a comment that I can see here. I'm not sure all comments always come through, so sorry guys if I don't see your comment, but she's saying it's like being irresponsible, if you're not making them want to live, basically, But that's the thing. It's what you started with. You said animals have choice, and we often are not acknowledging that and really not supporting that, because we also have this insane point of view that it's truly up to us and that we have to be the one that makes the choice for them. But we really don't. And the more we can really get that and live with that. And it's not about not being responsible. That's really not it, because you are still responsive. See, responsible means you have the ability to respond. That's all. It doesn't mean you have to live for this animal. It doesn't mean you have to basically micromanage the life of this animal, but that you are willing to be there. So, Viv and the whole family was willing to be there for this calf and assist, because otherwise you could have said, well, then fend for yourself. You know, if you find the teat in the next day, well, good luck on you. That's a totally different energy than, hey, I'm giving you choice to either live or die, but I'm also going to make sure that whatever choice you take, I support you in it, you know. And if you are showing me, hey, okay, cool, I'll fight for this. All right, let me help you with that. Or, hey, I want to let go of this. Okay, cool, let me help you with that. So it's not that you're not responsible, you're still responding.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, Susie. And what just pinged for me, maybe this is next week's conversation as well, about, well, how long do you, like with this calf, because Andrew's father has been around a lot of this type of thing, generally he's got this 3-day rule. He said, I give them 3 days, I give them everything I can within those 3 days. But if they don't start showing improvement within those 3 days, I have to make another choice too. Because otherwise you don't want to take on a sick animal. You might, but with him being a farmer, it's like he doesn't have the time or the resources to sit and nurse the sick calf for the next 12 months, His thing is, right, how do we get this animal, if it's choosing to have the most, I guess, natural, normal way of finding its mother and of feeding from its mother and continuing that relationship? Because I could see already this calf, I fed it this morning, but already it was gravitating towards Andrew's father. And I could see he was smelling him. And as he smelled Michael, his whole body relaxed. And I went, wow, that's incredible within what we would consider a very short time frame, that this calf has already associated, this person provides food and warmth and cares for me. And now to be able to transition that to know this is your actual real life, this is your mother, this is where the milk comes from. So maybe another conversation could be, well, where do we know where that choice is, that, if you've got a dying animal, where and how do you make that choice, knowing that you're making it for the greater good of everybody, which is what a leader would do. They would make a choice that's great, that creates greater for everybody. And this is such a loaded topic because, like you said, Susie, people, they tend to hang on, or they try and keep animals alive long after the animal has desired to go, so that's another really heated topic that maybe we could explore.
Well, yeah. And actually, just to put a little add on, because you just said this whole thing about his rule is the 3-day rule. I love stuff like that because, sometimes people go, yeah, but isn't there an exception, but the funny thing is, when you're being that clear from the beginning, the animal again knows. And it still has choice within that, and I am sure if he's on day 3 and this calf showed massive improvement, but it needs another day, he would probably give it. But to at least have the sense of like, hey, look, I'm giving you 3 days, and then it's basically, then it's really up to you to make that choice or not, but I'm not really going to stand here for the next 12 months and try to nurse you to health. And I have to say, like, as a dog walker, we had clients that would have very strict rules about how much money they would spend at the vet if something went wrong. And, basically what was their animal worth, and monetarily and so forth. And, it might sound really crazy, but I have to tell you, the animals that were from those people, they knew that. Because the funny thing is, I can tell you that those animals were not choosing anything that would cost more than what this amount was. It's really, really funny. I mean, and again, it could just show you that an animal is aware of these rules that you make. And within that parameter still has choice again,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I can see Nikki's made a comment down there too. This tells me so much about relationships and creationship in general. Thank you. Yeah. And one last thing I just wanted to add too in regards to relationship as well, because I was looking at the mum, because she was, mooing as she does. But Michael, Andrew's dad, has created such an amazing way of being with these cows that they see him as one of the herd. So even though she'd given birth to a calf, it was her first calf, she's still, the instincts are still really strong, but she knew that Michael was actually caring for this calf in a way that she wasn't capable of. And so I actually did some processing with her too, and just going, look, you've done a great job. The baby's alive, it's just we need to make a few different adjustments here. And then what will it take for the calf to be with you and for the calf to feed off you? So I also acknowledged her and her distress to a degree. It's like, well, she knew somewhere something wasn't quite right. And obviously the calf is hearing her, and if she's distressed, the calf's picking up on that as well. So I did a bit of processing with her and just some acknowledgement of her and some gratitude, and she calmed down, and then straight away I saw the calf be something different. So it's amazing, these tools of talk to the animals are so far reaching with how they can change the future, how they change how things transpire, with a bit of awareness, with no point of view or judgment in the way, or right or wrong. It's incredible the contribution that clear space, like I mentioned earlier, can be. So yeah, I love that part about relationship and creationship. So thank you for that prompt, Nikki.
Yay. Well, cool. So well, this has been actually a pretty fun conversation. So is there anything else, Viv, that we want to add to this? Or
I've even myself, I've been totally blown away from day one. Even day two was very, very touch and go. And Andrew had a look at this calf, and his brother looked at the calf, and they said, no, it's no good, And I'm like, I can feel a flicker in there. I'm aware there's something going on in here. Day three, standing on its legs, albeit wobbly and needing to lie down. Its eyes are open. It's looking around. It's sniffing. It's licking. So miracles can occur, truly. If you don't have a point of view about what shows up and how it shows up and when it shows up, and you're willing to be that space, miracles occur. So yeah, that blew me away. I hadn't come to any conclusion about whether it was going to live or not. It was just, well, what else is possible here? What contribution can I be for your body? So never underestimate the contribution you are when you're willing to be and ask a question.
Awesome. I love this.
I
don't have
Susie.
Anything to add to that.
Welcome to the beginning of your time in Budapest.
Yeah, exactly. Exciting.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Susie Godsey, legend on legs.
Aw, thanks. Well, Viv, you're the legend now. Look at that.
Legends together.
Exactly, in the Australian bush,
That's it.
I love it.
See you.
Well,
same,
cool.
Maybe that channel will organize a time to do another conversation. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.
I like keeping them going, and unfortunately, guys, yes, we plan ahead when we will have them, but it's not always the same time at the same day and everything, because we do travel. So, but yeah, just keep looking for us, and if you're having fun with these, you can scroll through the pages and see more of them if you like to watch. We pick fun topics, and yeah, see you next time.
And feel free to share and invite your friends to come and join us as well. Anybody that loves animals or could receive something from this, please feel free to share. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.